y'all, it's Belle. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a wrap-up of my recent reads. So, get started. First is The Misadventures of Nicholas Nab by Jenny Moore. A botched bread roll robbery spells trouble for Victorian sewer scamp Nicholas Nab. Big trouble. But when a mysterious veiled widow, Annie, steps in to save him, it looks like his luck might finally be changing. Only Annie vanishes before they can become properly acquainted, leaving Nick with nothing but questions. Who is the lady behind the black veil? Why does she seem determined to help him? And most importantly of all, where is she now? Nick will stop at nothing to find out. This was such a great Victorian mystery adventure. So good. There's a Victorian fair with a dastardly villain, a magic show with a dastardly villain, and a reform school for criminal boys with a dastardly villain. It's just so good. This is another book that shows what life might have been like back then for orphans. And it always blows me away how kids were treated. Just because they were orphans, just not a certain level of society. Like just, I don't know, just how kids were treated. It just blows me away. It's just horrible. This has so much adventure and misadventure, like the title says. Such good humor. Just a romp of a good time, like I said in my review. Such an interesting concept for a story. It's a different take on the usual Victorian orphan story or orphan reuniting with a parent story or trying to find their parent story. Loved it. I read it so fast. There's so much danger and humor, escapades, great characters. Nicholas is the best. He's always wanted that love that having a parent would bring. And now that he's so close to solving the mystery of who his parents were, he'll do anything to get it. And he loves his pies too, and I totally relate to that. And then there's Edwin, who's such a great character, and the friendship they form is so incredible, and the twists at the end were so good. Just very imaginative. Highly recommend. I loved it. Then I read the next in the Tristan Strong series. This is Tristan Strong Destroys the World by Kwame, Mbalia. And the Rick Riordan Presents series. This is the second book. I won't read the synopsis. Another gorgeous map. This was just as great as the first one. I am, if not better, I am so obsessed with these. Just amazing characters. This writing style is so good. It has so much heart. And we meet some new gods and goddesses and legends from folklore in here. And I love that. Keelboat Annie has my heart. She is phenomenal. Tristan is still the best perspective to read from. His humor is still on point. And his heart is so fierce, and he's just the best kid. And it still feels like home reading them. And we meet another kid in here who joins the adventure, and I love the twists and turns. Those, along with the adventure and the danger, it just kept me on the edge of my seat. So many great themes and messages, just like the first one. Like African diaspora, I think I'm saying that right. And the way the author weaves that into the story is just amazing. Then you have a character, Culture Vulture, who takes the stories and accomplishments of others as their own. And that's very symbolic, and you'll understand when you read it. And I like how the author didn't just talk about trauma in the first book and then just move on. Like, he's made it very relatable and believable by having it continue, just like it would in real life. It's still being dealt with. Trauma is not something you get over quickly, and it's just a theme throughout the books. And again, I also learned about important but horrible things from history, and I was Googling away with so many things, like Clotilda, I think that's how you say it, for example. Like I said, you'll read it and you'll see. Then the humor is just next level. Like I've said, it's like home. And I laughed out so many times, laughed out loud so many times, and very hard. And I had to keep explaining to my husband what was happening because he thought I was crazy. And like I put in my review, when Tristan thinks a joke and then thinks something like after the joke, ha ha ha, I'm here all week, or need to stop living in the past when it's about something he caused. Oh, it's just so my type of humor, and those are things I say all the time. And his anyway, it's just the best. Another thing I say all the time. And the working my last nerve, I got that so much as a kid. And he's right, it makes no sense. It's just, like I said, at home. And I just relate so much, and I get the humor so much, and I just love it. And I never thought sewing and boxing could have so much in common. But here we are. He makes you see that they do. Gum Baby still has my heart, even more so. I love her so much. The love grows for all these characters and their stories. Their stories are so important the more you read, and I'm having the best time with them, and I'm learning so much, which is so important. Highly recommend. And I'm finishing the third book up now, and I'm almost done. I loved it, and that'll be in my next review video, but such a great series. Highly recommend. And then the third in the series, so I won't read the synopsis. And this just came out last week. It's the Zombie Problem series. This is book 3, the final one, August of the Zombies by K.G. Campbell. And the author is also the illustrator, which just blows me away. There's illustrations throughout. This was such an incredible ending. And I read it in just a couple of sittings. I had a lot going on around the house, or it would have just been one sitting, really. These characters have my whole heart, especially Claudette. And I never thought I'd say that a zombie had a heart, my heart, but she does. Such a creative story with an amazing and original plot. The best characters your heart could ask for, alive and dead. Everything came together, and everything out throughout the books all connected and wrapped up beautifully. He definitely dotted his I's and crossed his T's. No loose ends were left. It was a very satisfying ending, and I really appreciate that. And these characters had an ending they deserved. How everything with the zombie stone and August came together and what happened was brilliant. And hydrangea development and growth and how we leave her at the end of this book, loved it. Madame Marvel had a twist in her story and it warmed my heart. I even loved what he did with Aunt Orchard's character story. Also how he wrapped up the zombies on stories, specific ones especially that we've grown to love. So incredible. Claudette, though, I got so emotional over that little zombie at the end. And just the best of ways. Such a beautiful moment and absolutely perfect. There's nothing I would change. It was gruesomely genius, right down to every sentence on that last page, page 375. It was the cherry on top, or should I say eyeball on top. It's so good. It's so superb. Can't wait for more from this author. This is such a phenomenal trilogy. Highly recommend. Another next in the series, I read the second book in the Whispering Pines series by Heidi Lang and Kati Bartkowski. This is Infestation. This is the second. I won't read the synopsis in this one either. But man, was this creepy and terrifying in every way possible. I still feel like I have bugs crawling on me. Like all their little legs, and not just bugs, but alien bugs. I was in love with the first book, but I think I love this one even more. They're writing together like the trilogy I read before that they wrote together. It's one of my favorites of all time. And I just love their books. This town of Whispering Pines is such an intricate world just in itself. It's so unique to anything I've read before. And the weird is normal to this town. They just accept it. And I can't say much more at all because it'll spoil, but this is even darker, creepier, more dangerous, more suspenseful than the first one. We found out a few new tidbits of clues, and the twist had me reeling. It's just so good. Then the stuff with Caden's family, Vivian and her mom, Ray and her sister, then everything with Green On, and this one was just brilliant. We have some of the same stuff from the first book with a whole new form of supernatural creepiness added to it. And I can't wait to see where this all goes next. Especially the direction it took at the end with a couple of things. I'm just so excited. All the things we learned were so good. And they left you wanting more. So I can't wait for the third book. I think they're going to do the cover reveal soon. I'm so excited. The chapters still go from Ray to Caden, back and forth, like equal. Like one, it goes, like there's not a couple from one, then maybe one from the other, and then a couple. It just goes Caden, Ray, Caden, Ray, Caden. And I love that. And I love getting to see both sides experience. And I just love them both so much too. And I love Nathan here as well. And the friendship dynamic has only gotten better. And I love the team these kids make. And Priceless Art made me so sad though. When you read it, you'll know. But the naming of that was just, just so good. The story flows beautifully and is very well paced. And just keeps you on the edge of your seat. I highly recommend it. Cannot wait for the third book. And I read The Very Dangerous Sisters of Indigo and McCloud by John Hearne. Indigo McCloud's sister Peaches is every adult's favorite child. Pretty, golden-haired, polite, and charming. But the children of Blunt know better. Peaches and her sisters are bullies who will stop at nothing to get their way. This is the story of Indigo's battle to stop his sisters. Leaping across the rooftops of Blunt, he tries to keep one step ahead of their wicked schemes. But he has to tangle with 437 hungry geese, an avalanche of toilets, curry farts, bungling policemen, vicious eels, a pig in a witch's hat, a three-legged spider with a toilet brush, and a dangerous villain in odd socks. I like saying it, but it was a romp of a good time. This was so good. I had the best time reading this. The absurdity of many things in here are done so well that they just come off just hilarious and entertaining. I've only read one Roald Dahl book that I can remember. And so this is compared like to the humor of that and a series of unfortunate events, which I haven't read yet, but I do have. And just from the one Roald Dahl book, I can see that. But this is definitely a story in its own right. It's not like the same or anything. It's just the absurd humor. Like, it's just so good. Peaches is methodical and a diabolical character. She is truly an evil genius. The things she could do if she just used that mind for good would be epic. The other sisters are little terrors themselves, but they're minions to Peaches, the leader. And Indigo was a great main character, and I loved seeing his character grow throughout the book. His strength and courage and belief in himself and doing what's right just grows, and it's just phenomenal to see. And you get his family's backstory sprinkled in throughout the book that led up to this point. And their family and this kooky town and its eccentric citizens, plus that backstory, are all fascinating. Polly has my heart, though. I love her. That's Indigo's best friend, and she's just amazing. Interesting plot, dark humor, and Indigo's fight to stop Peach's evil from hurting anyone else. I just highly recommend it. Can't wait for more from this author. And I don't always say it in review videos, but in book hauls I say it. The Tristan Strong series was sent to me by Big Honcho Media on Instagram. This series, I bought the first book, and then the author had sent me the second book, and then he had said he would send me the third one right before it came out, and he did, which I was very happy about. Algonquin sent me the Counterclockwise Heart. This actually comes out today when I'm filming this, February 1st. The Counterclockwise Heart by Brian Farrey. Tick, tick, tick. Time is running out in the empire of Rheinvelt. The sudden appearance of strange and frightening statue foretells darkness. The Hierophants, magical users of the highest order, have fled the land, and the shadowy beasts of the nearby hinterlands are gathering near the borders, preparing for an attack. Young Prince Alphonsus has other problems on his mind, including a great secret. He has a clock in his chest where his heart should be, and it's begun to run backwards, counting down to an unknown fate. Searching for answers about the clock, Alphonsus meets Esme, a Hierophant girl on a search of her own for a powerful sorceress known as the Nachtfrau. Riddles from their shared past threaten the future of the Empire, so Alphonsus and Esme must learn to trust each other and work together to save the Empire, their families, their hearts, or see everything they both love destroyed. This was so good. So unique, dark, imaginative. I also love the magic in this book and how there has to be a balance. To get magic, you have to give something, there's a price, and using too much upsets the balance as well, and there are consequences, and I love that. I love the world's backstory with the maiden and this royal family, including Alphonsus, and then Esme and the Hierophants people's backstory. Just so fascinating. The villain was truly despicable. He had a hard life, and I understand that as a kid, but everything bad that happened in his adulthood, he did it to himself. So he let jealousy and anger eat at him. I love these two kids, though. We read from both Alphonsus and Esme's point of view, and I've really been enjoying the multiple point of view thing lately, seeing all sides of the story and each experience. And Esme is complex and just a great kid. Both of their character development growth was so good. So many things in here are intriguing and gripping, like the clock for a heart running counterclockwise, the poem, the maiden, the Hierophants and their magic, Nachtfrau, the Lechleben, Birgit, and more. And the Lechleben itself was such a fascinating character, and I loved everything that happened there and with that. And so well done. And I read somewhere that parts of this were inspired by German folklore, and I'm going to be Googling like crazy to see. This is just a dark, magical adventure with amazing characters and writing. So, I just love this. And I read Crowfall by Vashti Hardy. The stories insisted there were worlds of adventure beyond. Orrin Crowfall has lived his whole life on Ironhold, an ordinary island committed to industry. But Orrin learns a terrible secret. The island is dying and everyone is at risk. Can he and his robot friend Cody evade the authorities and save their home? A rip-roaring, island-hopping adventure, an unforgettable ecological fable. Every book I read by Vashti Hardy just cements the fact that she's a favorite, why she's a favorite author too. And this was just so amazing. And this has all the steampunk goodness that I love from her, But she also blended nature and ecological elements in here too, and I love that. It was so good. It has so much adventure, and I just had the best time. Phenomenal world building as usual from her, and the most amazing characters ever as usual. Cody has my whole heart. What an amazing best friend to have by your side. Oren was an amazing main character, and he was so brave, and he didn't even realize how brave he was, which is just the true essence of bravery. Superb character growth and development, and I also adored Farrey and how her and Oren helped each other so much. The three of them made the most incredible team, the best dynamics. And the whole idea of fixies, the Erd, the core, lifelight, the seeds, everything about Ironhold and Natura, including their differences, the sea monster, the storms, the crows, everything was just so fascinating and so intriguing, very vivid, hooked from the start. Great messages and themes on having faith in yourself, courage, trust, friendship, and that balance that we must have in nature. And I just loved it so much. Phenomenal adventure story, and I highly recommend it. And then I read Just Harriet by Elana K. Arnold, which also comes out today, February 1st, and HarperCollins has sent me this. With illustrations. There are a few things you should know about Harriet Wormer. She just finished 3rd grade. She has a perfect cat named Matzo Ball. She doesn't always tell the truth. She is very happy to be spending summer vacation away from home and her mom and dad and all the wonderful things she has been planning all year. Okay, maybe that last one isn't entirely the truth. Of course, there's nothing Harriet doesn't like about Marble Island, the small island off the coast of California where her Nanu runs a cozy little bed and breakfast, and nobody doesn't love Money Penny, Nanu's old basset hound. But Harriet doesn't like the fact that Dad made this decision without even asking her. When Harriet arrives on Marble Island, however, she discovers that it's full of surprises and even a mystery, one that seems to involve her dad, back when he was a young boy living on Marble Island. One that Harriet is absolutely going to solve, and that's the truth. This was a very heartwarming, charming story with an air of mystery. I love the writing and the story so much. I have to say, to be honest, I didn't like Harriet for the most part, but that makes sense with me. The way I was raised, the constant lying she does, and the sass, it just would not have flown in my house. My mom, no. No. And so as an adult, that may be why kids that behave certain ways annoy me in books and in real life. But she is a character that could be very relatable to so many kids. The reason why she lies and why she says the harsh things she does, and she doesn't even understand herself sometimes why she does these things, are very believable issues. But she's just the cutest little thing with her overalls and her old suitcase that I think belonged to her grandpa. Her cat Matzo Ball and her Nana's dog Money Penny are just the best. They're so cute. Her Nana was just the absolute best though. She has the best grandmother. And this is so atmospheric between this little island town off of California and this amazing bed and breakfast setting. Just phenomenal. Harriet learned along the way, and the connection to her dad was truly beautiful. This is early MG, like she's just finishing 3rd grade. But I think this might, I'm not an expert on kids, but this might be a perfect book for readers going from chapter books to like middle grade novels. It's right under 200 pages, but like it's a little shorter, and the font's definitely huge. And like I said, illustrations throughout, so it might be that perfect transition. But like I said, this came out today. I read Ollie, Oxley, and the Ghosts, The Search for Lost Gold by Lisa Schmid. 12-year-old Ollie Oxley is moving, again. His mom is starting another new job, this time at the Bingham Theater in Granite City, California. Moving all the time means Ollie has struggled in the making friends department, but he quickly connects with a boy named Teddy. To Ollie's surprise, though, his first friend in town is a little more unique than most he's made in the past. Teddy is a ghost. Befriending someone who lived during the famous California gold rush sure does make things interesting for Ollie, but when the school bully, Aubrey, targets Ollie and it looks like the Bingham Theater might close, the stakes couldn't be higher. Can Teddy and Ollie work together to take down Aubrey, save his mom's job, and solve a mystery years in the making? I love this so much. It's such a great taking down a bully, treasure hunting ghost story. There's just so many layers. So you have the real life relatable issues for one, like Ollie dealing with this bully. He's also in another new town, house, and school because they constantly move, and he's tired of feeling like nowhere is home or getting to have any friends. Their dad left them and they don't see him. Then you have the ghost element, and I loved how this was done. Teddy is such a fascinating character, and I love the friendship and he and Ollie develop. Like, they become best friends, and tied to that comes in the treasure hunt, and it's so good. There's great humor in here. Between Teddy's humor and even Ollie's sister Dee Dee's humor especially, I laughed so much. Perfectly paced and great story building. Wonderful character growth with Ollie as well. Such a great adventure with a lot of heart, amazing writing and characters. Even the bully is written so well. I couldn't stand her, and yet at times the author gave you a glimpse of why she was the way she was, and you felt yourself feeling sorry for her until she did the next awful thing, and then you're like, ugh, can't stand her again. But the twist at the end and the ending in general was just superb. The way the title has, like, you know, Oxley, and then it says, like, this is this first in the series name. It has 2 parts. It made me think there would be more, but I haven't heard anything, so I don't know. I don't know. I would love more if it happened, though. This was just so great. I loved it. And then I finished This Last Adventure by Ryan Dalton, which also comes out today, February 1st. And I won this in the giveaway the author did on his IG, on his Instagram. Remember me, Archie. Archie's grandpa has always been his hero, but after grandpa is diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, the confident and adventurous man Archie's known all his life starts disappearing. He's not just losing his memory, he's losing pieces of himself. Archie desperately wants to slow the progression of Grandpa's memory loss. Using Grandpa's old journal entries as inspiration, he creates shared role-playing fantasies with epic quests for them to tackle together, helping Grandpa to live in the present while staying in touch with his fading memories. But there's a limit to the power of fantasies, and not all the memories recorded in the journal entries are happy. When Archie learns a painful secret about Grandpa's past, he questions everything he thought he knew about his hero. As Grandpa's condition worsens, Archie has to come to terms with the reality of what he's losing and decide what it truly means to live a life worth remembering. Okay, I had to leave and then come back to finish this, but this was so phenomenal. Such a heartwarming and beautiful and deeply moving read. I just loved it so much. The story just felt so real and the characters so real. It felt like you were actually there experiencing this firsthand with Archie. Like it was your own grandpa, your own mom, aunts, uncle, and then your best friend, your crush, your schoolmates. And just the author just made you feel a connection with each one of them. It's just incredible. And then we got to just see an experience with Archie, the real life things from school and the upheaval at home, experiencing all at the same time and just what that experience was like. I don't read a lot of contemporary. For me too, it's something that has to draw me to it. And this was Archie having these fantasies come to life, like acting out these fantasies with his grandpa, and it brought him out of this fog, so to speak, that the Alzheimer's would bring him into. And it's something he used to do, him and his grandpa, when he was younger, but then when he got older, he thought he was too old, too cool for that. But his grandpa really enjoyed it, so he started doing it again with memories from his grandpa's journal, the good ones. And I just love that. And everything with the journal and all of it, it's just incredible. Just an interesting concept, and I loved it. I've been fortunate never to have a loved one suffer from Alzheimer's so far. But I wasn't surprised at all in the author's note to read that the author's own grandpa had suffered from the disease, because it shows. This has so much emotion and heart in it. Like, there's so much love poured into this book. And like I said in my review, I think his grandpa would be very proud of him. And this will help so many kids dealing with the same thing. Like, all experiences are different, but I think it'll still help them regardless. It's just such an incredible book. And there's a great point here made as well about people that can look from the outside looking in at a situation and have all these judgments, but, and the quote in the book, if you haven't been there, you can never know what it's like, and that's so true. Archie and his grandpa will always have a special place in my heart, and I don't think I will ever forget them. There's so many quotable moments and lines in here, especially from Archie's grandpa. It's just about being the best person you can be, about the kind of person you want to be. It's just all so good. Every part of the ending was phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. It was bittersweet, of course, but it wasn't that deep sadness that I can't read anymore. Me personally, I can't read stuff like that anymore. Like, this is sad, yes, but it doesn't go... All parts of the disease are incredibly sad, and everything that he's already went through. But we didn't continue on into where it gets even sadder. Like, I read this and just absolutely loved it and gave it a big book hug. It's heartbreakingly beautiful and heartwarming at the same time. I also enjoyed the discussions of kids picking what they want to be for a career that they'll have for the rest of their lives at 13 years old. And I especially loved what Archie did with his project. So good. Like I said, this came out today, February 1st, so I highly recommend it. It was just such a phenomenal book. I'm so in love with it. Oh, my heart. I just loved it. And that's what I like. I don't like reading contemporary a lot. Like I said, it has to be something special about it or something that grabs me personally. And I since I know I don't want to read a lot of, I read to escape. So the ones I do read, man, they're some gems because they're truly they're incredible. The writing is so good in the, I don't know how to explain it, but just great writing. Highly recommend this. Alright, y'all, that's it for this video. Have you read any of these? Did you like them? Did you not? Have you seen any you want to read? Are you excited about any of them? Let me know in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you would like to subscribe, I would love that if you'd like to. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.